So when I was asked to come for this meeting, I was not up with a lot of things with the tunneling in Bangalore. So I've been reading up a bit and listening to some of the podcasts and all that. So I come to a conclusion that it's a totally foolish thing to do because I'm a geoscientist. I know what happens during a tunneling and all that to the groundwater and all that. So we have seen these things happening in all around the country. As Professor Rajendran has already told, that there is a sort of a conspiracy between the mafia, the real estate mafia, and mining lobby all over the country. I'm very sorry to say that it's not just happening in Bangalore. I mean, I've been working in different parts of the country. In the Himalaya, and the Nicobar, and all these places, things are going very bad from worse. So when we see irrespective of the parties, actually the contractors are ruling the country now. So my issue is like when you look at the tunnel project, see, you look at how fast the whole decision process has taken place. It has started sometime during early 2024, and the cabinet approval is given, and there are two corridors. One is the east-west and the north-south corridors. We have already seen that, which goes from the Silk Road to the Hebron. And things are so going very fast. At the same time, you see that how the metro project is delayed. How the suburban railway project is delayed. You see, it's all mired in different problems. And this is something which we should have been doing very fast and finish these projects. It's not happening. But here, look at this, how fast this tunneling proposal and the project has been approved. So what is happening here is, there is this implementation process is passing because of the decision process has become so fast now. So when you look at the problem from an economical point of view, from an environmental point of view, from a geological point of view, it looks like it's a very bad project. We can assure you that. I've been listening to the expert, and he was telling about Satya Ariputram, and he's been very vocal about this, very critical about this project. So there are already a lot of litigation have been filed with the Karnataka High Court and also in National Green Tribunal. All these places you have already the litigations are filed. So there is a lot of protest from the citizens about this project. So when you look at the mobility expert like Satya, he says that there is a foundational basis of the tunnel project is flawed, and the comprehensive mobility plan from Bangalore, so you look at it, which is approved in 2020. You see that the government accepted the goal of 73% of every motorized trip in Bengaluru should be catered to by public transport. That is what the goal is, which is approved and decided in 2020. And the onus should be on strengthening the public transport system. And you look at the kind of tunnel project, what they encourage is going to be on private cars, that is what the rest of the transport, mobility means are not being encouraged at all. So another aspect is, when you look at the affordability, there is absolutely no public, poll taken among the public to say whether are you capable of affording this. See, when you go through this, you have to pay about 20 rupees per kilometers if you use the tunnel. That is the kind of money that you're going to spend on this. Every customer, everybody who's going to use that. So are you willing to pay this? This is a fundamental thing that any government, particularly when you are talking about a democratic setup, where the public consent has to be taken for all this. Whether there is, when I was told that, I heard that there is not even a proper environmental assessment report for this. So there is no EIA, report that is prepared for this. So this again is a very gross, issue that has now cropped up because a huge public, a funded project along with the private funding is going to take place, and there is no environmental assessment report taking place. Has implemented. Has written. There is no. It's not prepared. So, like when Professor Ashish Verma from IISc, when he said that we are actually following American model in terms of mobility, we are encouraging people to buy more cars. Like if you go to US, you see that the people cannot move around without cars. In every house there may be 3 or 4 cars, for every member of the family. So is this that we are going to follow? If that is the way, then it is already proved that that is not a sustainable model. He has already told about that. So again, the question again is, as far as Bangalore is concerned, the previous speakers have already said that we have reached a tipping point in terms of, the usage of cars, in use of carbon footprint, and the groundwater which is going down drastically, and we are actually bringing water. So you can see that everybody, in every people who are living in the city is scattered by the trucks carrying water to your places. We don't have any water anymore, to tap for the groundwater. So again, when you look at it, I again read that the same alignment for the proposed Nama Metro Phase 3A, that is the red line, that is actually aligns with the tunnel alignment. So each one of these projects will eat into each other's viability. That is what is going to happen. So our priority should be to finish all the metro lines. So that is going to be the major thing that is going to ease out our transport system. So there is again the question again, when you come to geology, I understand that there is the Lalbagh place. That is about 3.5 billion year old rock that is again a part of National Geological Monument, which will be impacted by the construction of this tunnel. So that is another issue here. So again, the DPR which is prepared very hurriedly. If you look at go to Google and you can read all that, how badly they have prepared a DPR for this. So we are not aware of how much trees are going to be cut here. So that is another issue that has already cropped up and people are discussing about it. So again, when you look at the geology, again, most of the geology here is very crystalline rocks, massive hard rocks, which you can see on any surface. If you go to Lalbagh, you see the outcrop of a crystalline rock. That is what we also find if you go down from the surface. So this is a huge crystalline massive rock that is going to be, we are going to bore this bit to make a tunnel. We use a boring machine to do the tunnel. So this is what is going to happen. So what happens is there's a lot of in situ pressure, and that we are going to be disturbed. And again, how much it will lead to the things like caving ins and changes in situ pressure, which will again lead to some rock blast, things like that. We are not very sure about. The DPR has not gone into all these issues at all. So another issue is that there are a lot of fractures. You see, in crystalline rocks, the aquifers are different from the soft rocks, sedimentary rocks. Here is mostly the water is passed through long fractures, and or shear zones. So when you cut into this, it's likely to be disturbed. That is for sure. That we are going to disturb the groundwater table, whatever is now that is remaining there. So again, the question again that is already talked about, the issue between the symbiotic relation between the groundwater and the lakes, because as both of them feed each other. So when during the rainy season, the groundwater table goes up and that goes into the lakes. That is, actually helping the lakes to maintain their water level. And during the other times also, as this water also gets into the aquifer from the lakes. So there is a symbiotic relation. So we should not do anything that should be disturbed. So I will not take much more time here now. So again, the question is, have we done enough work to construct a geological map of this area? Because we need to do a lot of boring, lot of other geophysical surveys to understand what type of geology that we are going to encounter during tunneling. We have not done that. So the problem is that we have not done a proper environmental assessment work at all. So that has to be done before we go into all this. Again, the point is, this environmental assessment again is something, if you look all over the country, is being done by consultants who are paid by. There is a lot of conflict of interest here. So this has to be done by independent experts who should not have any conflict of interest with either by the people who are funding this or the government. So this is something which also we have to insist. If somebody is doing the environmental, or some firm is doing it, or some team of experts are doing it, we should see that there is no conflict of interest. It has to be an independent work. So again, to summarize, we have to say that there are priorities has to be kept here, because we need to look for the metro line, we have to look for suburban railway. All these things are very important. That should have the priority, and just forget about the tunneling now and do other things very in a very fast, so that things are eased out in Bangalore. So instead of focusing on this viable project, we have to make Bengaluru livable, and also as make it an example for sustainable living. Thank you so much.